Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. So today I have got a special video for you because it is not only a speed build for one of my all-time favourite shows, Heartland, but it is also a collaboration with one of my all-time favourite Sims content creators, SimmingSlytherin. So if you've not encountered Lou's channel before, which I would be very surprised if you haven't because I talk about her quite a lot on my channel, I've referenced her quite a lot in the past, so yeah, definitely go and check her out if you haven't already. But at the minute she's got some really wholesome let's plays on her channel, including a Snatched by the Witch series, as well as her Duggar challenge, which is based off the Duggar family from 19 Kids and Counting. But in general she just has some really super cozy content and put so much effort into developing her characters and families in her gameplay, so you'll definitely love her content. As her channel name suggests, she is also a huge Harry Potter fan and has several Harry Potter related videos if that's something you're interested in. She's also got some videos of her making Sims for my Gilmore Girls save file, so if you love Gilmore Girls like me, then go and check out those videos. And she also streams regularly as well, so I am definitely a huge fan of her streams. I love her streams, she's so funny, she's got such an amazing sense of humour. So I will link both her YouTube and Twitch accounts down in the description box below, so please go and follow her and subscribe to her, watch her content, because I promise you that you will love her. Like I say, she has the best sense of humour and is so entertaining, so yeah, go and check her out. Okay, gush session over Lou's channel over. So like I say, this was a Heartland themed collab between me and Lou. I reached out to her originally because I knew we were both huge fans of the show and I already had plans to create the ranch house from the show in a speed build, and I asked her if she wanted to make some of the characters from the show in CAS. So she has made Amy, Lou, Jack and Ty, who are the main characters from the show, over on her channel. So yeah, like I say, just go and check out that video over on her channel because I assure you that they are amazing. So for those of you who have never seen or heard of Heartland before, it's basically a Canadian show set in gorgeous rural Alberta with lots of beautiful mountains, and it follows the story of Amy, who starts out as a teenager who takes over her mum's business as a horse whisperer on their ranch when her mum tragically dies in a car crash at the start of the show. So Amy lives on the ranch with her grandpa Jack and her sister Lou, and then also the young ranch hand Ty lives in the loft above the barn. So if you're a horse fan like me, I would definitely recommend checking out this show because it has tons of cute horses and it's just so cozy and family oriented, and it was basically my safety net throughout lockdown because it's got like 14 seasons, all of which have 22-ish 45-minute episodes, and it's just so relaxing and cozy. And yeah, they're all on Netflix as well, so it's really easy to watch. And my favourite character from the show is Lou who starts out as this driven type A businesswoman from New York who then moves home to support her family after her mum obviously dies, and she is just the ultimate power woman. I love her. She's also totally neurotic and annoying to everyone around her, which I totally relate to, but she is also really sweet and loves her family, and I just love her so much. And I think SimmingSlytherin did an amazing job creating all of the characters in CAS, and I had so much fun looking at all of the traits she gave them and the likes and dislikes. So yeah, if you're a fan of the show, you'll definitely enjoy watching her make those characters, I'm certain. So in terms of the build then, the overall layout of the ranch was basically impossible to replicate because the area of the land is so much bigger than we have in just our 64 by 64 lots in The Sims. So I started with the barn facing away from the main house, but there wasn't room to fit everything else in when I did that, so I end up switching the orientation of the buildings and shift them around quite a lot. So sorry if the footage is a bit confusing. I sort of build it one way and then change it later on, and yeah, so it's a bit messy at points, but hopefully you get the gist of it eventually. I try to get as many references to the show in as possible. So in the show, for example, the horses are obviously kept in this big red barn, and that's also where Amy's mum's old office is, and Ty lives in the room above the barn, and just outside the barn is this big round pen that they use for training horses. So in the show, Amy does something called a roundup, which is basically where she makes the horse run around in a circle over and over and then walks away from the horse to make it follow her, and I think that's basically a sign that they've accepted her as their leader of the herd. And I watched a video of Amber Marshall, who's the actress who plays Amy, talk about the difference between a real roundup and a Heartland roundup, because apparently in real life they use this technique and the momentum of the movement and the turn is actually what causes the horse to turn into you, and it's actually a really quick motion, whereas in Heartland they film a really long pause when the horse is about to turn, suggesting that it's basically considering whether or not to trust Amy, which makes it more cinematic and more like the horse is thinking, and it's just more dramatic for the camera basically. But anyway, I used the debug fence pieces to create all of the paddocks in the build, and that's how I made the round pen in front of the barn. So they're all debug pieces, I think base game as well. And obviously inside the barn are some stalls, some storage areas, and also a small tack room as well. So the show is Canadian, and so obviously it features Western riding as opposed to an English riding style, and so they have loads of beautiful Western saddles in the show. And Amy's dad is also a retired bronc rider too, so he has loads of impressive saddles that he's won in competitions. So a while back I created my own Western style saddles and bridles out of random individual objects. I think the Western saddles are mainly made out of island living items, but anyway, the reason why the footage changes when I make the saddles is because I did that part ages ago when I was creating them, and the bridles for my English Equestrian Centre speed build. So I didn't use the Western saddles in that build, I obviously used English style saddles, but I did use the bridles, so I built them at the same time, I did them all in one, and that's why the footage changes back and forth. So I will link that Equestrian Centre speed build down in the description box below in case you're interested in checking that out, because that's where the bridle footage is, because I didn't want to put it in two separate videos because I use the same bridles for both builds. So yeah, I'll link that in the description box below and you can go and check that out if you're interested in watching me build the bridles, because yeah, they're just made out of a load of, I think they're Realm of Magic wands. I think I used size down chest objects for the buckles, and what else do I use? I think I use horseshoes for like the circular metal area of the bit. Yeah, just loads of random objects basically sized down and put together. I also did use the tool mods for both the saddles and the bridles, which means that you won't be able to replicate either of the objects without a mod. However, I have uploaded both of the saddles and the bridles individually to the gallery, and I don't use any CC at all, so you can absolutely download the saddles and the bridles into any of your builds and use them yourself if you wanted to. So yeah, I made sure that they were downloadable for you. So yeah, there's obviously like a little section for the tack room in the barn, and like I say, Ty's bedroom's in the barn as well, and the office spaces in the barn as well. And then towards the front of the build, I create a paddock with some show jumping jumps. I think I did that before I built the barn. But yeah, the idea for that field was basically inspired by the show jumping jumps that Ty builds for Amy in like the first or second season of the show. So yeah, he builds these makeshift jumps out of like logs and sort of spare materials that are lying around as a present to her, which is really sweet. And so I thought that I would reference that part of the show a little bit with those jumps. So yeah, again, there's no CC with those jumps. I think they're all debug objects, or mostly debug objects. Some of the logs might not be, I can't entirely remember, but I think most of those objects were made using outdoor retreat logs, I want to say. I know the seats I used as like supports for some of the jumps, they're definitely outdoor retreat seats, I think. And then maybe the fallen logs were outdoor retreat logs as well, and the fences might even be outdoor retreat fences too, and they're part of the jumps. So yeah, hopefully you like that little reference to the show. I thought it was super cute. Oh yeah, and the driftwood was from Cats and Dogs. I also added a little outhouse towards the back of the build, because in one episode there were so many people living in the main house at once, and Jack got really annoyed with having to share his bathroom with everyone, so he ended up building an outhouse, and I thought that was just really funny, and I just thought I was hilarious referencing that. So there's a little outhouse with a toilet and towards the back of the build, and that's got the handcrafted toilet in there because I figured that it would probably be the least comfortable toilet, and let's face it, using an outhouse in Canada in winter outdoors would not be the most comfortable thing ever, so that's why I put that toilet in there. And then in terms of the main house, so I did my best at replicating the layout of the build from the show, and I think I did an okay job with the main downstairs area, but I had absolutely absolutely no idea where any of the bedrooms went, and I think maybe the build should even have had stairs, but I honestly couldn't remember, and there was no room with the shape of the builds that I'd based on the exterior to have any kind of upstairs. I know in some of the later seasons that they do have like an attic room that they convert, so maybe I was just thinking of when they have that attic room they sort of build stairs up to it. I don't know if the stairs exist in most of the show. Maybe I'm just making that up, but anyway, yeah, I had no idea how many bedrooms there were. I think I missed out a bedroom maybe, or maybe they just convert the bedrooms so often throughout the show that I've lost track of which one's which. I included all the bedrooms that I could think of that we see in the show. So Lou's was the first bedroom that I built, which is a blue bedroom, and Amy's is the bright red room, which I actually love the look of in the show because she's got this really pretty like cream metal bed frame, which is obviously set against this really dark red paint, which you'll see when I build it. And it doesn't look the best in The Sims 4. I mean, it looks okay, it looks a bit odd, but in the show it looks really, really pretty. And I think we're lacking like a really gorgeous Victorian metal bed frame like that in The Sims 4. I mean, I do use one. I think it's like that kids single bed in the game that, yeah, has that metal bed frame, but it's not really the same style that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like a really kind of elaborate, intricately designed bed frame with like loads of swirls and decorations on it. Like that's the kind of bed frame that I want in real life when I eventually get to design my own bedroom. But yeah, we don't have one like that in the game at the minute, and I think I recall seeing a bed sort of like that in the new cottage living expansion pack, so hopefully they'll have some really, really pretty swatches in that pack for that bed, because unless I was imagining it might not exist. But I just recall, you know, in the scene in the gameplay trailer where that guy is quite punky in his aesthetic, or his like what he's wearing, and he's in this black room with like loads of black objects, and yeah, and he's cross stitching and he's got loads of cute cross stitch designs on the wall, but he's got a black metal bed frame that he's sitting on the bed. So that's what I am thinking of, and yeah, so hopefully we get a really nice couple of swatches with that bed, because I was really excited to see that. And I forgot to mention it in my latest video, which was like a review or overview of the gameplay trailer, so yeah, sorry about that, but I am actually really excited about that bed. So yeah, Amy's is the red bedroom, and obviously I tried to use as many horse related items in her room as possible, but there weren't actually that many in the game, which I find incredibly offensive, so The Sims 4 needs to sort its life out. But yeah, that was a challenge because we only have like 2 horse objects. We have 1 horse toy, 1 horse sculpture that they can craft on the handcrafting table, and then we had like a unicorn object, and that's all I could find. I'm sure we have more, but I couldn't think of any. And I had some like horse postcards and posters as well, so yeah, I added those. But yeah, there aren't that many like horse objects in the game, which is heartbreaking, and I will speak a bit later on about how I want horses in The Sims 4. But before I do, I will just explain that I also added Lou's daughter Katie's nursery bedroom, just because I remembered the colour scheme to that room randomly for some reason. I think it was just featured a lot on the show, so I could do it from memory because I couldn't get any other photo references for different versions of that room. It probably would have been better for me to have done Marion's room, so before it gets redecorated. I think Katie's room is what Marion's room used to be. I'm not entirely sure, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, like I say, I have no idea where all of the bedrooms go and what they consist of, so yeah, sorry if I've gotten that wrong. But yeah, so I did Katie's nursery room, and I really like the colour scheme in that room. It's one of those rooms that I would never have thought of, like that kind of colour scheme, but it just works. It's totally typical lodge ranch house sort of aesthetic, and yeah, it works. And then the last bedroom that I built is Jack. So obviously Jack needs a bedroom, and I don't think we ever see Jack's room in the show unless I'm mistaken, so I just guessed for that. I think I made it green because I figured, you know, that's the kind of colour that he would find acceptable. It's just, yeah, your generic sort of ranch house bedroom. Loads of checkered patterns everywhere and lovely wooden crafted furniture, so I think Jack would be okay with that bedroom. I think he would like it. And then of course I tried my best to replicate the fireplace from the show, because it's, yeah, a really big part of the show is the family's tradition of allocating a stone on the fireplace to each member of the family on like this name naming ceremony that they have, and so the fireplace is a really important part of the build. So to make that, I used a platform tool for like the left and right raised areas, and then the mantelpiece is just a couple of wooden debug objects that I raised up and sized up as well. And then yeah, there's another platform, the bottom level, and then I also hid a normal fireplace in the platform areas, so you can't see half of it, but you get to see like the main actual fireplacey part of the fire. Yeah, and then I just added loads of clutter items. I also thought about Jack and his little fishing table, because to the left of the fireplace is his little fishing table where he spends hours crafting the little lures or whatever they're called for his fly fishing. I think it's fly fishing that he does. So he does all of that on that little table in the living room. So yeah, I thought that was a cute detail to add for him. I also put 2 giant mounted fish on the wall above that table, because I thought that yeah, he would be proud of all of the fish that he could catch, so he would put them on his wall. So that's why they're there. That's basically all of the build, or me explaining all of the build. So before the video ends, I just wanted to talk a little bit again about horses in The Sims 4. I've got a couple of videos talking about horses in The Sims 4. Obviously I talk about it in my equestrian centre build that I mentioned earlier, and I've also got this autumn stables speed build on my channel where I basically just list all of the features I would love in like my ideal horse game pack. And the other day I was talking to Lou, aka SimmingSlytherin, who is part of this collab. I think it was in the comments to my video reaction to the gameplay trailer, because obviously I was mildly disappointed to find out that we aren't getting horses in cottage living, and I kind of figured that that would be the case, because like the Sim Gurus kind of confirmed in a tweet, the horses would be a huge amount of work in terms of animations and gameplay to get everything you would want out of horses, because there's so much that I would want to be able to do with horses in the game. So yeah, that would take a whole load of work, and I don't think they could justify adding it into the cottage living pack, because it's not necessarily a huge part of cottage living. Yeah, it's more like a separate theme, isn't it? I get how sort of cows and sheep relate to cottage living, but not necessarily horses in the same way. So I get it, I get why they didn't include them. But Lou said that apparently in one of the English Simmers videos, she mentioned how the Sim Gurus said that they might prefer to put horses in a game pack. Now, I haven't done any research other than just reading Lou's comment about this, so forgive me if we are both wrong, but oh my god, wouldn't that be exciting if my ultimate dreams came to fruition, the horse riding game pack in The Sims 4. I would just love that. That would just be so many of my dreams come true. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below of that idea, how passionately you feel about horses in The Sims 4. But yeah, I would want a whole game pack dedicated to horses, and I would quite happily buy a separate pack in order to get that gameplay, because I don't think I will survive not having horses in The Sims 4, because I've waited so long. I've bought so many packs under the impression that eventually we will get horses, so that if we don't get horses, I will actually be heartbroken. So yeah, like things that I would want to see in a horse pack include maybe like, it would be great to have a horse whispering career, like so you could be Amy Fleming from Heartland. That would be amazing. But I would want to do like show jumping and maybe dressage. I don't know if we were able to do that in The Sims 3. I know we could do show jumping. We had horse racing in The Sims 3, which was cool. I don't think you could actually go to the horse races, but you went into a building and then you kind of watched your sim race as an icon on the screen, and that was good enough for me, so that would be fine. Breeding, I would love to do horse breeding or some sort of horse training. That would be amazing too. Just generally riding around on trail rides, or yeah, just being with your horse and hanging out with your horse, and anything that makes you money from riding. I would love, like, my ideal pack would include the option of having a horse related career somehow. Oh my god, like a horse riding school would be so good. Like imagine if you could have riding lessons as a sim, or teach riding lessons. That would be amazing. Or like own a riding school where you could like rent out stables and stuff like that. That would just be so cool. I mean, none of this will actually happen because we don't have the in-game functions to be be able to facilitate any of these things. But yeah, how cool would that be? Just so many options. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you're a horse nerd like me and what your horse game pack goals would be, what your ideal horse pack would look like. Also, don't forget to check out SimmingSlytherin's video for this collab, because like I say, she is undoubtedly going to have an amazing Kaz video. I've seen the characters and they're so cute. I've got some footage at the end of the video of me just showing off some of the characters around the ranch and they look really good. So yeah, go and check out her video, show her some love and support because she deserves it so much. And yeah, I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye guys.